Hi everyone. So a lot has been going on for the past few weeks since AP exams officially started. As a test prep specialist and an independent educator, I'm kind of in a unique position. I get to hear from all sides what's going on. So we have the counselors, who are all kind of upset and frustrated over the extra logistics behind these AP exams. Then there are the teachers, who have the students' best interests at heart and are working overtime to make sure the students have the resources they need to succeed when taking these exams at home. And then there are the students. Many of them are pissed off at College Board and are posting very angry memes online. So for those of you who aren't aware, on May 11th, Trevor Packer released this tweet stating that only 2% of students had errors in submitting their AP Physics C exam. He even goes so far as to correct this Twitter user and tell him that there were only 450 submission errors on the AP Gov Exam. Then quietly, College Board publishes their exam submission data online. So it turns out that while they're detecting less than 1% of errors, closer to 7% of students start the exam but don't finish. That amounts to 333,000 exams around the world that were started but not completed. And then for AP Gov, instead of 450, that number is closer to 18,000. So maybe it wasn't as extreme as that Twitter user said, but it's definitely a lot more than 450. So a couple days ago, College Board started allowing teachers to review their students' submissions online, and more word is now coming out about how a lot of these confirmed submissions are looking a little bit iffy. Some of the submissions are pretty harmless but kind of annoying. So for example, we have this teacher who said her entire student's DBQ had no spaces in it. So somehow in the copy and paste part, all the letters got removed and some poor reader is going to have to read everything without spaces. Then we have more problematic errors in submission. This teacher is saying that some random lines in her students' essays are being left out, but when she copies them over to Google Docs, she can actually read the text. I'm guessing this is just because the student ended up copying and pasting some sort of citation from the DBQ that they were writing, and when they went to put it onto the website to submit it, it ended up turning out white as part of their plagiarism detection software or something. So the words are there but it's not visible. So then I guess it depends on the teacher, if it's just a couple sentences, it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but maybe it is for that particular essay. Then we have this teacher who downloaded her student's response and saw a big old blank. Then she contacts her students, and this student, who obviously thought ahead, sent back a screenshot that said, "Congratulations!" But I guess maybe the student just sent a blank page by accident, or maybe somehow along the way the words got deleted. Then we have this error, which I think is going to be the most common error that people are encountering. So then we have this teacher whose student accidentally submitted the same answer sheet twice for two different questions. Or we also have other students who submitted a document that was entirely unrelated to the document that they tested on. And of course, are students able to check their own submissions for completeness? Absolutely not. It's up to the teacher. Each teacher has to go through their entire roster, manually click on the download icon next to each student's name, and then read through it to make sure that everything is there that should be there. For some teachers that's okay because they have really small classes, but this poor teacher is going to have to click through 150 submissions manually and then read through carefully just to make sure that there are no white spots or blank pages or anything like that. So what's College Board's response? Well, they came up with this website for teachers, I guess. I'm going to link the website below, but basically the website goes to what's an acceptable error and what's a not acceptable error. So basically these types of errors are big problems. Blank tests. Tests that are too blurry to be legible. Tests with missing work. So maybe a whited out sentence, maybe a missing page, maybe a missing part of a problem. Students who submitted the same answer twice. So if you submitted an answer doc that has both of the questions combined, the reader is only instructed to grade the second one because theoretically you would have had extra time to do the first one, and so they won't count the first one. So these types of mistakes you don't have to worry about. So for example, if you forgot to put your AP ID number, that's okay. If your photographs are the wrong orientation, sideways instead of vertical, or vice versa. If your pages are out of order, as long as they were submitted for that question, then it's fine. If you feel like the document was formatted poorly, so for example, if all the spaces are off, or if the margins are off, or the font's kind of weird, that's not a big deal. If your document's slightly blurry, that's not a big deal, as long as it's legible. So what do you do if you think your test is in trouble? Besides posting angry memes on Reddit. So it's too late to sign up for the second round of testing, but guess what? College Board is doing a third round of exception testing. Starting June 1st, you can request late June testing. These tests will run from June 22nd to June 30th. So for those of you who are scheduled to take the second round of tests and something screws up again, you have a third chance. I'll also link the third round of testing below so you can check. And of course, they're not going to do anything with the schedule, so if you're in Europe or Asia, good luck taking this third round of tests at 2 a.m. So moral of the story, if you haven't heard back from your teachers, check in with them. Really nicely, please, because they're under a lot of stress. Remember, only the teacher who teaches the specific subject that you took a test in will be able to see your responses. The AP coordinator at your school or your counselor won't have access to that. However, they will be able to see if you're signed up for a late exam or not. And of course, one of my counselor friends told me today that even though his student thought he'd submitted his exam successfully, was magically signed up for the late testing, I guess because he had a submission error. So, champ, maybe your number of 30,000 is correct. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I thought that everybody should know. If you have any questions, leave a comment below.